Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Haris bin Muhammad Ilmi from 4C, and in this video we will be going into depth regarding the DVWA individual assignment for ITT557. Now, for those who's wondering, what is DVWA? DVWA, or Damn Vulnerable Website Application, is a vulnerable web application for studying security concepts and testing security tools. Damn Vulnerable Web Application is a PHP MySQL web application that is damn vulnerable. Its main goals are to be an aid for security professionals to test their skills and tools in a legal environment. DVWA also helps web developers better understand the processes of securing web application and aid teachers or students to teach or learn web application security in a classroom environment. So in this video, we will be covering two particular attacks, which is SQL injection and cross-site scripting, or XSS. SQL injection is a code injection technique that might destroy your database. It is one of the most common web hacking techniques. SQL injection is the placement of malicious code in SQL statements via web page input. SQL injection usually occurs when you ask a user for input like their username or user ID, and instead of a name or ID, the user gives you an SQL statement that you will unknowingly run on your database. So the main goal of SQL injection is to manipulate an application database to gain unauthorized access, steal, modify, and destroy your data. So there are multiple negative impacts of this particular attacks, but a few of them would be: 1. Unauthorized data access. So attackers can gain critical information about you, such as usernames and password, personal data such as IC or your addresses. Then they can also do data manipulation or deletion. By gaining power or access, they have control to corrupt data or executing fake transaction. Then it's full system compromise. So by gaining power to the particular systems, they can execute administrative operations on the database. And lastly, on a business point of view, financial loss could occur, recovery and incident response costs. So now, let's move on to the demonstration tools.
So this is the DVWA application that we will be using today to demonstrate the attacks. So first thing first that we need to do is set the security level to low for this particular scenario to ease the demonstration phase. So the first attack would be SQL injection. So the objective of this attack, there are 5 users in the database with ID from 1 to 5. Your mission is to steal the password via SQL injection command. Now let's look at the view source and see what we're working with. So you can see it accepts ID in the get request section. So down here you can see the SQL statement where the parameters is not correctly validated. So by not being correctly validated, attackers, or in this case us, we can inject codes to exploit this vulnerability. So this is the part where the parameters is not correctly validated. So yeah, let's get into it. So in this case, we will be using a trusted and a very good open source reference for attacks, which is the Pot Swinger. In this case, we will be using this particular code. So we will copy and go back to the DVWA. We will paste it, but there are some adjustments that need to be made, because if you submit, you will not get anything. So from users, we need to adjust it to match our database, and this column, there are no username column exists in our case. There are only user. So yeah, that looks about right. Let's run the SQL injection code. So here you can see we have gained all of the information regarding the users in this database. So in this case, surname is also the password, or hash you call it. So if you want to validate these hashes, you can just go to the terminal, just type in hash ID and copy any of the hashes. Let's copy it, go back and paste it. So as you can see, these are all the credentials about that particular hash or user.
So, what are the ways to prevent or to mitigate this attack? Let's cover a few of them.
Wow.
One is to use prepared statements or parameterized queries. This is the most effective method. Instead of inserting user input directly into SQL commands, developers bind the input as parameters. This prevents attackers from injecting malicious SQL code. Other than that, is using stored procedures or input validation and sanitization. As you can see from the demonstration, without proper validation, attackers can insert SQL codes to gain authorizations. And lastly is to use ORM or Object Relational Mapping tools. Frameworks like Laravel's Eloquent, Django, ORM, Hibernate automatically escape input and use safe queries methods. Let's move on to the second attack. Cross-site scripting or XSS. What is that? It is a type of attack or rejection problem in which malicious scripts are injected into the otherwise benign and trusted websites. XSS attacks occur when an attacker uses a web application to send malicious code, generally in the form of a browser-side script, to a different end user. Flaws that allow this attack to succeed are quite widespread and occur anywhere a web application using input from a user in the output without validating or encoding. So the impact of this attack is 1. Account hijacking. Attackers can gain session cookies that could potentially be super dangerous. And then theft of sensitive user data, such as the previous one, sensitive data such as personal information, and the script injected could also read forms before submissions. And then is unauthorized actions or session writing. By inserting the script, the attackers can gain power to be changing passwords and also making purchases without your knowledge. And lastly is the deployment of malware or phishing. By inserting the script, attackers can redirect users to a malicious website where they can then escalate their attacks even more. And they could also force download into your device without you knowing. Now, let's move on to this attack demonstration.
Now, for the demonstration of cross-site scripting. So, as you can see, we will just input our name, just Haris. You can also see this in the page source. If you scroll down, you can see between the pre-tags, yes, there's the hello Haris. And going back, let's do a simple script command. Let's type in script. And yeah, there is it. Let's do a simple alert where it alert the user that the user's device has been hacked. So as you can see, the pop-up display showed. So you can also see this again in the page source. If you scroll down, between the pre-text also, you can see the script has been inserted. Now, the next demonstration that I want to show is the attackers gaining the user cookie. So how to do that? We will be creating sort of our own server, which is, we'll just type in python /m http.server, and we'll give it a port number, which is 1337. Let's enter that. So we will be redirecting user to this server. Let's close all. So how we'll do that is inserting this particular script command and paste it on the input. So when submitting this injection script, the user will be redirected, as you can see, redirected to our own server where the user cookie has been obtained. So you can also see this in the terminal. As you can see here, the cookie has been obtained. So with this, as I said, by gaining user cookies, the attackers can do a lot of harms to you or your systems, and most importantly, your information.
Wow, that is dangerous. What are the ways to prevent or mitigate it? Let's take a look at it one by one. One is filter input on arrival. At the point where user input is received, filter as strictly as possible based on what is expected or valid input. Then, encode data on output. At the point where user controllable data is output in HTTP responses, encode the output to prevent it from being interpreted as active content. And lastly is to use appropriate response headers. You can use the content type and X content type options headers to ensure that browsers interpret the responses in the way that you intended. So, that is it from me for now. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.